He's the greatest champion in golf history. 18 majors, 73 PGA Tour wins, a name that's been synonymous with excellence for over 6 decades. But yesterday, Jack Nicklaus did something no one ever expected. He walked away. Not from a tournament, not from a sponsor, from the company that bears his own name. After winning a $50 million defamation verdict against Nicklaus companies, after watching them file for bankruptcy with nearly $500 million in debt, the Golden Bear just made a decision that sends a chilling message to every athlete who's ever sold the rights to their own identity. "I don't need to regain control," he said. "I already own my name." And with that, the most iconic brand in golf history just became a battlefield. October 2025, a Palm Beach County courtroom. 6 jurors sat in silence as the verdict was read. Jack Nicklaus, 85 years old, the man who'd won more major championships than any golfer in history, had just been awarded $50 million in a defamation lawsuit against the company that bears his name. The allegations were staggering. According to the lawsuit, executives at Nicklaus companies had spread false stories that Nicklaus was considering a $750 million deal to join the Saudi-backed LIV Golf League. Even worse, they claimed the 18-time major champion was suffering from dementia and no longer mentally fit to manage his own affairs. For a man who'd spent 6 decades building a reputation as not just a great athlete, but a man of integrity, those words cut deeper than any 3-putt. He deserved better than what he got, Eugene Stearns, Nicklaus's attorney, told reporters after the verdict. Jack has spent his life helping others and earning a reputation as not just a great athlete, but a great human being. The jury found that Nicklaus companies had damaged the legend's reputation, exposing him to ridicule, hatred, mistrust, distrust, or contempt. Howard Milstein, the billionaire owner of Nicklaus companies, and executive Andrew O'Brien were also named as defendants, but jurors stopped short of holding them personally liable. For a moment, it seemed like justice had been served, the Golden Bear had been vindicated. But in the world of high-stakes business litigation, a verdict is rarely the end. It's just the beginning of the next battle. 1 month later, everything changed. On November 21, 2025, Nicklaus companies filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy protection in Delaware. The filing revealed a financial picture far uglier than anyone had imagined. 11 affiliated entities, including GBI Services LLC, listed estimated assets between $10 million and $50 million. Their liabilities? Between $500 million and $1 billion. Pre-petition funded debt alone totaled approximately $493 million. At the time of filing, the company had just $750,000 in cash on hand. The bankruptcy was, in many ways, a direct response to Nicklaus's $50 million verdict. By seeking Chapter 11 protection, the company could potentially shed that judgment and restructure its debts. But there was another layer to the strategy. The bankruptcy filing gave Milstein and his affiliates significant leverage in the ongoing battle over the Nicklaus brand. They secured up to $17 million in debtor-in-possession financing from entities affiliated with Milstein himself, Fund Nic LLC and PMP Nic LLC, giving them certain rights to Nicklaus's intellectual property. Nicklaus fought back immediately. He filed motions to dismiss the bankruptcy case, arguing it was a bad faith attempt to strip him of his rights and gain a litigation advantage. He lost that battle in January when a judge approved the financing over his objections. The stage was set for the most dramatic asset sale in golf history, and at the center of it all sat the most valuable prize in the sport, the right to use Jack Nicklaus's name. February 2026. The auction was set. Brand manager Iconix International emerged as the stalking horse bidder, offering $50 million to acquire the licensing and commercialization rights to the Jack Nicklaus and Golden Bear brands. Under the proposed deal, Iconix would pay a $1.5 million breakup fee and $500,000 in expense reimbursement if it was outbid. But here's the twist. The deal didn't include Nicklaus Co.'s golf course design and real estate development businesses. Those remained separate, tangled in the ongoing dispute between Nicklaus and Milstein. The auction was scheduled for February 4, with a sale hearing set for February 13. And as the date approached, one question hung over everything. Would Jack Nicklaus himself bid for control of his own name? The answer surprised everyone. "We don't need to buy the company," Nicklaus's legal team explained. "Jack already owns his name, image, and likeness rights independent of the company. He's free to design golf courses, promote products, and control his own legacy regardless of who buys the licensing business." A New York state judge had already dismissed a lawsuit by Nicklaus companies that attempted to prevent Nicklaus from using his name to promote his golf course design business. The legal foundation was clear: the Golden Bear's identity belonged to the Golden Bear. But the auction sale meant that licensing rights, the ability to slap Jack Nicklaus on clothing, equipment, and merchandise, could end up in the hands of a third party, and Nicklaus had no control over who that party might be. This brings us to the moment that has the sports world stunned. Rather than engage in a bidding war for assets he believes are rightfully his, Jack Nicklaus chose a different path. He walked away. He doesn't need to regain control because he never lost it, a source close to Nicklaus explained. The company owns certain licensing rights under a contract that's now in dispute. But Jack Nicklaus, the man, the legacy, the reputation, that's not something you can auction off in a bankruptcy court. Nicklaus's position is rooted in a fundamental truth about celebrity branding. The name is inseparable from the person. You can buy the right to print Jack Nicklaus on a golf shirt, but you can't buy what makes that name valuable. That value resides in the man himself, his integrity, his reputation, his 60 years of goodwill. And after what Nicklaus companies put him through, the false LIV rumors, the dementia accusations, the public humiliation, there was no amount of money that could convince him to play along with whatever came next. Jack's not walking away because he lost, one legal analyst noted. He's walking away because he won. He proved in court that his name was damaged. He collected a $50 million verdict. Now he's letting the bankruptcy process sort itself out while he gets back to doing what he loves, designing golf courses and spending time with his family. The 2007 deal that sold Nicklaus's name rights for $145 million had always been a business transaction. Now, nearly 2 decades later, the business side was in shambles, but the man, still standing, still Nicklaus.
So where does this leave the Nicklaus brand? Iconix International's $50 million bid is now the baseline for auction. Other bidders could emerge, potentially driving the price higher. Whoever wins will acquire the right to license Jack Nicklaus's name for commercial products. But they won't acquire Jack Nicklaus. He remains free to design golf courses under his own name, a business that's currently thriving with more than 60 active projects in 19 countries. He remains free to speak, to endorse, to be the golden bear that generations of golf fans have revered. The bankruptcy will play out in Delaware court. Creditors will fight over the remaining scraps of a company that once seemed invincible. Lawyers will bill millions. And at the end of it all, some corporate entity will own the right to put Jack Nicklaus's name on merchandise. But the man himself? He's already moved on. There are more than 60 design projects underway in 19 countries right now, Nicklaus's team noted. That's the future, not this. For the rest of the sports world, the Nicklaus saga serves as a cautionary tale. Selling your name, your image, your legacy, it's a transaction that can never truly be undone. The money is real, the freedom it buys is real, but the control you surrender, that's real too. Jack Nicklaus spent 6 decades building something that can't be bought or sold. And now, as the company that bears his name crumbles in bankruptcy court, he's proving that the most valuable asset of all is the one you never give away. The Golden Bear is walking away, but he's not walking away empty-handed. He's walking away with his name, his reputation, and his legacy intact. And in the end, that's worth more than any auction bid. For more coverage of the biggest stories in golf, subscribe and hit the notification bell.